In this lesson, we are going to be looking at writing a linear equation given a situation or some kind of context. So, really, what we're saying is we got word problems, and I know a lot of you do not like word problems. And that's why it's important for us to go over them because they come up a lot, and it's also an application thing. So, for this first one, I'm going to write down what I need to know, which is it's going to be a linear equation. So that means I know I'm going to have a y equals mx plus b situation where m is my slope, but this is also my rate of change. So rate of change can be like speed, miles per hour. It could be reading a book, pages per minute. It could be earning a certain amount every week. So it could be $10 per week. There's a bunch of different ways that we think about it, but usually it's some denomination over time. So whether it be weeks, months, years, seconds, minutes, pick one. The other thing that we have is our y-intercept, which is also our start value. So those are the two main things we need to keep in mind while we're going through this. So for our first example, it says Greta is opening a savings account. She starts with $100 and plans to add $50 each week. Okay, so when I usually do these, I tend to read them more than once. And this is because sometimes I'm not really sure what it's asking or where this is going. So when I read the first sentence, Greta is opening a savings account, it doesn't really tell us much in terms of math. So for me, I'm just crossing it out. It's like, cool, you're doing that, but that doesn't mean anything right now. She starts with $100. So that's a good indication. Starts with, that's probably important. And plans to add $50 each week. So I'm boxing these because I want to make sure I can draw attention to them really easily and I don't have to keep like rereading the same thing over and over. So the first thing that I need to answer is what is the unit rate of change for the situation? So remember, a rate of change is how much is happening over time. So if I come up here, starts with $100, well, that's not changing. But what is changing is adds $50 each week. So my unit rate of change is dollars per week. You can also write it as dollars over week, like that. So then the next thing, it says write an equation that reflects the situation. So as always, we're doing y equals mx plus b. So we need to discuss or figure out what my slope is. So a good indication of what slope is our rate of change, which we identified right here. So $50 each week means that 50 over 1, or just 50, is our rate of change. 50 is our slope, so 50x. The next thing we need to know is our y-intercept, which is just our starting value. Luckily, we have this information here. It says starts with $100. That's a good indication that that right there is my y-intercept. So plus 100. How much money will she have after 1 year? So there are 52 weeks in 1 year. So I'm going to put 52 where x is and then solve. So we get y equals 50 times 52 plus 100. When I put this in a calculator, we get y equals 2,600 plus 100. And that leaves me with y equals 2,700 or 2,700. So after 52 weeks, we would expect her to have $2,700 in her account. So if you need to pause, go back, look over everything, take notes, it's super important. Please do that. Otherwise, we're going to do one more example. This example that you are about to see is more related to one that might be found in Delta Math. So it's worded in a way that might be even more confusing than what we're used to, which is why it's super important that we go over it. So for this one, Braden signed up for a streaming music service that costs $15 per month. Say, so I'm saying it costs $15. This service allows Braden to listen to unlimited music, but if he wants to download songs for offline listening, the service charges 75 cents per song. Probably important. So if I just left it there, I wouldn't really know where to go because right now I have per song per month. That's confusing. It seems like I could have like two slopes. That doesn't make sense. So it's super important that I'm paying attention to what is going to be asked next. How much total money would Braden have to pay in a month? In a single month when he download 23 songs. Okay, so that right there tells me I don't need to worry about the per month part. I'm just focused on I paid $15. How much do I have to pay now for per song after that? And then the next question we'll come back to because it's asking for two different ones. So we're going to focus on this one. So costs $15. That's how much it is per month, or that's how much I'm starting when I'm paying for something per month. So that's my starting value. This says we're talking about downloaded songs. So there is 75 cents per song. Those charges are going to be my slope or my rate of change. So it's a cost per item is what we're looking at. So that means first, it's easier if I can make an equation for this. So I want to say I have y equals my rate of change is 0.75 per song. And I'm going to call this per song. And then I'm starting at $15. Okay. So I need to figure out if you downloaded 23 songs, how much did it cost for that month? Y equals 0.75 times 23 plus 15. So when I put this in a calculator, we get y equals 17.25 plus 15, which means in that month, he spent $32.25. So that answers our first question. When you're in Delta Math, it's only going to ask you for this amount here. The next question, how much would he have to pay if he downloaded S amount of songs, an unknown? Well, if you notice, we already answered this question. It's right there. The difference is it's asking for you to use S instead of X right here. So when you put this in Delta Math, make sure your equation looks like 0.75 S plus 15. It does not want you to put the Y value in there when you're using Delta Math. So when you're doing these, I really suggest that you take your time, you don't rush, and you take notes on the side just in case.